permanent connection for a portable generator must adhere to the National Electrical Code, NEC, Article 702. Let's break down the costs associated with a code-compliant installation. Firstly, you'll need materials, specifically a generator panel, which typically costs between $200 and $300. This dedicated panel isolates the generator power from the main electrical system. Secondly, a manual transfer switch is required, and those usually range from $300 to $500. This switch allows you to manually switch between the utility power and the generator power. Thirdly, the wiring, conduit, and other necessary materials can cost between $200 and $300. Then there is the labor involved. The labor to run the wiring and install all the components usually costs between $200 and $400. Adding up the material and labor costs, a code-compliant installation typically totals between $900 and $1,200. Now, let's explain the costs a little further. A generator panel is required because it isolates the generator power, as mentioned. A manual transfer switch allows for the safe switching between power sources. The wiring and materials are required to safely and compliantly route the wiring and install the various components. It's important to understand that a significantly lower cost connection, such as a $250 installation, likely refers to what's commonly called a suicide cord or some other improper temporary connection. These types of connections violate the NEC and they pose a serious safety hazard. There are several benefits to having a code-compliant installation. One, and most importantly, is safety. A proper installation prevents backfeeding, which can electrocute linemen working to restore power, as well as potentially electrocuting the homeowners themselves. 2. It provides convenience, offering a safe and convenient way to use a portable generator for essential loads during a power outage. 3. It ensures code compliance, meeting the NEC standards and protecting your property and the occupant. When discussing this with homeowners, it's crucial to emphasize the safety hazards associated with improper connections and explain the importance of proper installation. It is important to inform them about the NEC requirements and the potential consequences of non-compliance. Here are a few alternative options to consider. You might suggest a smaller generator, for example a 5 kilowatt unit, which would reduce the overall cost of the installation. You could also explore whether the homeowners are willing to do some of the simpler work themselves, for example, digging the trench for the conduit. Finally, you might suggest a payment plan to help make the overall cost more manageable for the homeowner. Remember that safety is paramount when dealing with electrical installations. Always adhere to the NEC and prioritize a code-compliant approach. When connecting a portable generator, there are specific requirements outlined in the National Electrical Code, NEC, to ensure safety and prevent hazards. These requirements primarily focus on preventing backfeeding, which is the flow of electricity from the generator back into the utility grid. Backfeeding can create a dangerous situation for utility workers who may be working on the lines, as they could be exposed to live voltage from the generator even if the main power is shut off. It can also damage the generator and the home's electrical system. The key component in a safe and code-compliant portable generator connection is a transfer switch. A transfer switch is a device that allows you to safely switch between the utility power and the generator power. It ensures that only one power source is connected to the home's electrical system at any given time, preventing backfeeding. There are two main types of transfer switches, manual and automatic. A manual transfer switch requires you to manually switch between the utility power and the generator power. This involves turning off the main breaker in your home's electrical panel and then turning on the generator breaker on the transfer switch. An automatic transfer switch, or ATS, automatically switches between the utility power and the generator power. When the utility power goes out, the ATS senses the outage and automatically starts the generator and switches the power source. When the utility power is restored, the ATS automatically switches back to the utility power and shuts off the generator. For a portable generator connection, a manual transfer switch is typically used. It is less expensive than an ATS and is suitable for situations where you are able to manually start and stop the generator. When installing a transfer switch, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable electrical codes. The transfer switch should be installed by a qualified electrician to ensure that it is properly wired and grounded. The wiring between the generator, the transfer switch, and the home's electrical panel must be of the correct size and type to handle the electrical load. It is also important to properly ground the generator and the transfer switch to prevent electrical shock hazards. In addition to the transfer switch, there are other important safety considerations when connecting a portable generator. Never plug the generator directly into a wall outlet. This can create a backfeeding situation and is extremely dangerous. Always use a heavy-duty extension cord to connect the generator to the transfer switch. Make sure the extension cord is rated for outdoor use and is of the correct gauge to handle the electrical load. Place the generator in a well-ventilated area. Generators produce carbon monoxide, a deadly gas, so it is important to operate the generator in an area where the fumes can dissipate safely. Never operate the generator indoors or in an enclosed space such as a garage. Keep the generator dry. Do not operate the generator in the rain or snow. If you must operate the generator in wet conditions, use a canopy or other protective covering. Before starting the generator, make sure all the appliances and lights that you want to power are turned off. This will prevent the generator from being overloaded. Once the generator is running, you can gradually turn on the appliances and lights, starting with the most essential ones. Do not exceed the generator's rated power output. Overloading the generator can damage it and can also create a fire hazard. When refueling the generator, turn it off and let it cool down completely before adding fuel. Gasoline is flammable, so it is important to take precautions to prevent spills and fires. Store gasoline in a properly labeled container in a well-ventilated area away from heat and sparks. Regularly inspect the generator for any signs of damage or wear. Check the oil level and add oil as needed. Keep the generator clean and free of debris. By following these safety guidelines and adhering to the NEC requirements, you can safely connect a portable generator to your home's electrical system and provide power during an outage. Remember, safety is always the top priority. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to install the transfer switch and connect the generator. Let's delve into the specifics of choosing and installing a manual transfer switch for a portable generator. Firstly, selecting the right size transfer switch is crucial. The size of the transfer switch is determined by the amperage of the circuits you want to power with the generator. Determine the total amperage of the circuits you want to connect to the generator. This will help you choose a transfer switch with the appropriate amperage rating. Consider future needs. It's generally a good idea to choose a transfer switch with a slightly higher amperage rating than you currently need to accommodate future expansion or increased power demands. Secondly, understand the different types of manual transfer switches. There are several types of manual transfer switches available, each with its own features and benefits. One type is a whole house transfer switch. This type of switch allows you to power your entire home with the generator. However, it requires a larger generator and a more complex installation. Another type is a select circuit transfer switch. This type of switch allows you to choose which circuits you want to power with the generator. This is a more common and cost-effective option for portable generators. Then there are meter-mounted transfer switches. These switches are installed at the electric meter and allow you to power your entire home of select circuits. These switches may require approval from your utility company. Thirdly, consider the installation location. The transfer switch should be installed in a convenient and accessible location. Choose a location that is close to your main electrical panel and the generator. Ensure that the location is dry and well ventilated. Avoid installing the transfer switch in areas that are prone to flooding or moisture. Fourthly, follow the manufacturer's instructions. Carefully read and follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation. This will ensure that the transfer switch is installed correctly and safely. If you are not comfortable with electrical work, hire a qualified electrician to install the transfer switch. Fifthly, wiring the transfer switch involves several steps. Turn off the main breaker in your home's electrical panel. This will de-energize the electrical system and prevent electrical shock. Identify the circuits you want to connect to the transfer switch. These are the circuits that will be powered by the generator. Run wiring from the transfer switch to the selected circuits in your electrical panel. Use appropriately sized wire for the amperage of the circuits. Connect the wiring to the transfer switch and the electrical panel according to the manufacturer's instructions. Ensure that all connections are secure and properly insulated. Sixthly, grounding the transfer switch is essential for safety. Connect a grounding wire from the transfer switch to the grounding electrode system in your home. This will provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, preventing electrical shock. Seventhly, testing the transfer switch is important to ensure it is working properly. After installation, test the transfer switch to verify that it is switching between the utility power and the generator power correctly. Start the generator and switch the transfer switch to the generator position. Verify that the selected circuits are powered by the generator. Switch the transfer switch back to the utility position and verify that the circuits are powered by the utility. Finally, remember to label the transfer switch clearly. Label the transfer switch with clear instructions on how to operate it safely. This will help prevent confusion and ensure that the transfer switch is used properly. By following these guidelines, you can safely and effectively install a manual transfer switch for your portable generator. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. Now let's discuss some common mistakes to avoid when installing a portable generator connection. Firstly, neglecting to use a transfer switch is a critical error. As previously emphasized, using a transfer switch is essential for preventing backfeeding and ensuring safety. Never attempt to connect a generator directly to a wall outlet without a transfer switch. Secondly, improper wiring is another common mistake. Ensure that the wiring between the generator, the transfer switch, and the electrical panel is of the correct size and type. Using undersized wiring can cause overheating and fire hazards. Follow the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable electrical codes when wiring the transfer switch. Thirdly, failing to ground the generator and transfer switch can lead to electrical shock hazards. Always connect a grounding wire from the generator and the transfer switch to the grounding electrode system in your home. This will provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, preventing electrical shock. Fourthly, overloading the generator is a frequent mistake. Do not exceed the generator's rated power output. Overloading the generator can damage it and can also create a fire hazard. Before starting the generator, turn off all the appliances and lights that you want to power. Then, gradually turn them on, starting with the most essential ones. Fifthly, operating the generator in an enclosed space is extremely dangerous. Generators produce carbon monoxide, a deadly gas. Never operate the generator indoors or in an enclosed space such as a garage. Always place the generator in a well-ventilated area where the fumes can dissipate safely. Sixthly, refueling the generator while it is running or hot is a hazardous practice. Turn off the generator and let it cool down completely before adding fuel. Gasoline is flammable, so it is important to take precautions to prevent spills and fires. Seventhly, neglecting to maintain the generator can lead to problems. Regularly inspect the generator for any signs of damage or wear. Check the oil level and add oil as needed. Keep the generator clean and free of debris. Eighthly, improper storage of gasoline is a fire hazard. Store gasoline in a properly labeled container in a well-ventilated area away from heat and sparks. Never store gasoline inside your home. Ninthly, failing to properly label the transfer switch can lead to confusion. Label the transfer switch with clear instructions on how to operate it safely. This will help prevent accidents and ensure that the transfer switch is used properly. Tenthly, attempting to do electrical work without the necessary knowledge and experience can be dangerous. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to install the transfer switch and connect the generator. By avoiding these common mistakes, you can ensure a safe and reliable portable generator connection. Remember to prioritize safety and follow all applicable electrical codes and manufacturer's instructions. Let's delve into some advanced considerations for portable generator connections. Firstly, consider the use of a load management system. A load management system can help you prioritize which circuits are powered by the generator. This can be useful if you have a smaller generator and need to manage the power consumption of your appliances and devices. A load management system can automatically shed non-essential loads when the generator is approaching its maximum capacity. Secondly, explore the possibility of using a smart transfer switch. A smart transfer switch can provide advanced features such as remote monitoring and control. You can use a smartphone app or web interface to monitor the generator's status, start and stop the generator, and switch between the utility power and the generator power. Thirdly, investigate the use of a generator interlock kit. A generator interlock kit is a device that prevents you from accidentally backfeeding power into the utility grid. It works by physically preventing the main breaker and the generator breaker from being turned on at the same time. A generator interlock kit can be a cost-effective alternative to a transfer switch. Fourthly, consider the installation of a whole-house surge protector. A whole-house surge protector can protect your appliances and electronics from power surges caused by the generator or the utility grid. It is installed at your main electrical panel and can help prevent damage to your valuable equipment. Fifthly, explore the use of a battery backup system. A battery backup system can provide temporary power during a power outage. It can be used to power essential devices such as lights, computers, and medical equipment. A battery backup system can be used in conjunction with a portable generator to provide a more reliable power supply. Sixthly, consider the use of a generator enclosure. A generator enclosure can protect the generator from the elements and reduce noise. It can also help to prevent theft and vandalism. A generator enclosure should be well ventilated to prevent overheating. Seventhly, investigate the possibility of using a propane or natural gas generator. Propane and natural gas generators are more fuel efficient and produce fewer emissions than gasoline generators. They can also be connected to your home's existing propane or natural gas supply. Eighthly, consider the use of a remote start kit. A remote start kit allows you to start and stop the generator from a remote location. This can be useful if the generator is located in a hard-to-reach area. Ninthly, explore the use of a generator monitoring system. A generator monitoring system can provide real-time information about the generator's performance. It can monitor the generator's voltage, current, frequency, and power output. It can also send alerts if there are any problems with the generator. Tenthly, consider the use of an automatic voltage regulator or AVR. An AVR can help to stabilize the generator's voltage output. This can be important for sensitive electronic equipment that is susceptible to voltage fluctuations. By considering these advanced features, you can customize your portable generator connection to meet your specific needs and preferences. Remember to consult with a qualified electrician to determine the best options for your situation. In conclusion, establishing a safe and code-compliant portable generator connection involves careful planning, proper installation, and adherence to safety guidelines. By understanding the key components, avoiding common mistakes, and considering advanced features, you can ensure a reliable and safe power supply during an outage. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. The NEC provides detailed requirements for generator installations, covering aspects such as wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and transfer equipment. These requirements are designed to minimize the risk of electrical shock, fire, and equipment damage. The NEC also addresses the specific requirements for portable generators, including the need for a transfer switch and the prevention of backfeeding. Understanding and complying with these requirements is essential for ensuring a safe and code-compliant installation. Regular maintenance of the generator is also crucial for ensuring its reliable operation. This includes checking the oil level, cleaning the air filter, inspecting the spark plug, and testing the generator under load. Proper maintenance can help to extend the life of the generator and prevent unexpected breakdowns during an outage. Finally, it is important to educate yourself and your family about generator safety. This includes understanding the risks of carbon monoxide poisoning, electrical shock, and fire. Make sure everyone knows how to operate the generator safely and what to do in case of an emergency. By taking these precautions, you can help to ensure that your portable generator provides a safe and reliable source of power during an outage. Remember, a portable generator is a valuable tool, but it is important to use it responsibly and safely. If you are ever unsure about any aspect of generator installation or operation, consult with a qualified electrician.